What? Hello?
Have a good time.
Yeah, come in.
Hello.
Hi.
Taking the time to meet with me today.
What can I do for you?
My name is Caleb Sandbulte. I'm at ITEC 451 Supply. Mind if I take a seat?
Yeah, let's see.
Awesome. Thanks. I have a meeting with Alejandro today. Is he going to be available to join us?
Please.
So,
What did you meet with Alejandro about?
so we at ITEC 451 are a diverse distributor. I am the chemical coatings rep. So to me, that means that all the preventative maintenance coatings, from powder coat systems, powder coat itself, to just basic facility maintenance, we kind of cover that all. Located here in Kearney, just off 56th and A. So we're pretty close to you guys there at Parker. And we kind of went over a couple of things in our first meeting that kind of recap here, unless he maybe filled you in a little bit.
No, he didn't, but like, what are you offering me? Like,
Sure, yeah. So in our first meeting, he said that we're kind of seeing some application issues with the adhesion on your powder coat for some of your high temperature filters.
mm-hmm.
Is that still a prevailing issue?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, he then invited me to come visit your plant and kind of see if I could figure out anything that might be the cause of that issue.
And did you?
I think I came up with a couple of good solutions here that I'd like to discuss with you. So I'm a visual guy, so I kind of drew a picture here of what we'd be looking at. Are you familiar with the process of hot flocking?
No.
Hot flocking. Sorry. So it's, you can see here, it's a basic sketch of the flow of your current powder coat application on this side, starting with your staging area where your filters are coming in. And this is the hot flocking solution that I kind of drafted up here. And you can see up to this point, the process is very much the same. Your filters are coming in, ready to be coated. They go through an outgassing, so now they're all clean. And then they get sandblasted, where that helps with the adhesion partially. It is an important step, so that's still going to be a part of the hot flocking process. Where it really changes is, instead of shooting the filters with your powder coat and then baking them, we bake them first. They get to a high enough temperature, and then we shoot it with the powder coat. And that allows it to adhere to the filter and begin the curing process immediately.
So we're talking about lines that are producing filters at 100 parts per minute.
Right.
You want me to run them through a furnace, come back, spray them, and then run them back through the furnace again?
No, actually, the benefit of a hot flocking process is you run them through the furnace and then you spray them and then they're done. Another issue that I did kind of see is, in your current setup, there is no priming stage. And a primer, while it's not the most durable coating, it's not the main purpose of it. It really promotes the adhesion of that powder coat onto the filter. So where we're seeing all these issues at the high temperatures with the paint peeling, that can all be avoided with a prime coat, essentially.
So what changed in your product that requires me to have to purchase new equipment in order to do hot flocking? We've never had this problem. We didn't have this problem with any of your competitors' products.
Right.
We changed the Sherwin-Williams recently, and now we're having problems, but we didn't have problems initially. We actually validated our design and our process with Sherwin-Williams, and now we have a problem. What changed in your product?
You know, at the moment, I'm not really sure. We'd have to take in some failed pieces and analyze them for, you know, any sort of change in the previous coating to the current one. And I can't really do that by eye, but if we would be allowed to take some of those filters back to our lab, and we could easily come up with the answer to that question.
So I don't need to do this. You can actually just fix your product.
Well, I think there's still benefits to this.
Is the benefit faster production?
That's one of them. Yes.
By how many parts per minute?
Well, it would kind of depend on which size of filter you're running.
Why?
The amount of time it would take to hot flog a larger filter is greater than the time it would take to hot flog a smaller filter. So say on average, I don't know. I don't really know, to be honest. I
You
can
don't
get back
know.
to you on that.
You're my subject matter expert and you don't know.
Well, it's hard to give an accurate number on such a wide array of product lines, and I don't want to tell you something incorrect. So that would also kind of be a question for our engineers. This is just a draft that I mocked up to help kind of visualize the differences between the current and the hot flogging process. Another major benefit of hot flogging would be it would increase production time, and it's cheaper. So the process that you're currently using, where they go through the furnace last, requires a higher temperature than the hot flogging does. So without replacing this furnace at all, we can turn down the temperature that it's set to. And, you know, when a furnace is running all day, a matter of 50 to 75 degrees Celsius is a big cost save. So not only is it working faster, but it's more efficient. And I did note, I mean, this priming stage that I have drawn in here, that's still optional. You don't have to go with that. With your current sandblasting setup, I just assume that because we are seeing problems with adhesion, that maybe we'd be interested in looking at the possibility of adding a priming Faraday cage. But if not, this is all just a draft. We can totally customize the solution to fit your needs.
What about you? You can't be older than 15 years old.
With a mustache like this, man.
If you want to call it cool, we'll call it cool, whatever.
Well, I started with ITEC 451 about 5 years ago, straight out of college. I attended school at UNK here in Kearney, and I started my career with ITEC 451 in South Dakota. I worked in the warehouse in our location up there for about 2 years, maybe a little less. And for the past 3 years, I've been the chemical coatings rep for the Kearney area out of our branch here. So one request Alejandro had for me was a list of contacts that we've done business with. If you're interested in seeing that,
Sure.
I've prepared. Just 4 names, a couple local businesses, and I contacted them already, so you won't be calling them out of the blue. They kind of understand that someone might be calling.
Okay.
But yeah, so how familiar are you with ITEC 451's capabilities?
Well, you know, I got to be honest. You don't have that great of a reputation around. From what I understand, I don't know these people, and I'd be happy to contact them. But I've been under the impression that you have some supply chain issues and some service issues, and that's just not going to be acceptable. So I'd like to kind of explore that.
Understood. Yeah. So what are some key things that you look for in a distributor or supplier of your chemical coatings?
I want my product when I need my product, and I want it available. And from my experience, it's not always been available through you.
Time is money. So yeah, we got to make sure that we can actually have that product on retainer for you. So I think part of where that sort of stigmas came from has just been, supply chain issues throughout all industries. And while it has been tough, I think we've done a decent job of being able to at least fulfill needs to the minimum requirements.
Define decent job. Like what is your list?
Well, I mean, of course, there have been difficulties getting certain materials in. So it's not business as usual for us, hasn't been for the past, well, since I started this position about 3 years ago. That's been a major issue that we've had, and
Understood, but you didn't answer my question. I said, what is your list?
list, sorry,
You know what list means?
no,
Line item ship complete.
okay. I'm still not
It's a
exactly,
percentage of, so if I order 5 items from you and you ship 2 of them, your list would be 40%.
okay.
So what is your list?
We shoot for at least 90%,
90%.
yes.
You shoot for that. That's not what I asked. I asked what it is today.
Today is probably, well, thinking back to recent orders, 80%,
80%.
yes,
That's not the perception in the world today.
right.
So how is it the perception is not lining up with reality? So if I call these people and I ask them what your list is with them, they're going to tell me 80%.
At least, yes,
At least.
yes. So much like Parker Hannafin, we always strive for continual improvement. And it might sound crazy, but 80% is actually up from when it was when I took this position.
What was it then?
Closer to 60. And, you know, we've came a long way since then. There's been difficulties and hardships. It's no excuse, but we've found ways to always at least meet the requirements of our customers.
The problem is you're not telling me the truth right now. And it's evident because I asked you what it was and you didn't say, I know what it is. You said, what is that? You wanted a definition to the question. I gave you the definition and then you pulled a number.
Well, I was just not familiar with that term, and
We'll use a different one, fill rate.
okay,
Are you familiar with that one?
yes, sir.
How is that calculated?
Well, it's not too different from LISC. Bill rate.
It's 100% different than LISC.
Okay, and I guess I don't know. Sorry.
Okay. If you don't know, tell me you don't know, and then find out for me in a follow-up. I don't need somebody to just tell me that they know the answer, because what you just did is basically ruined the trust that I had in you. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay. So what other problem are you here to solve?
Well, you guys really rolled out the red carpet for me. I got a full tour of your facility,
Okay.
and
It's a great facility, isn't it?
it is. It's fantastic.
And what did you notice when you saw it?
What I noticed was, especially in the warehouse, where you're fulfilling those orders, packaging them up, shipping them out, you got an amazing concrete floor in there, and it's huge, and there's a ton of cracks. And the issue is, small cracks become big cracks if they go unchecked.
Mhm.
And one product that we have had a lot of availability to recently is CSR in our joint filler. So we've seen that leaving cracks unchecked can cost companies tens of thousands of dollars in repairs and fixing foundations. So if we can get ahead of that issue, then spending $10 on a gallon of our CSR is much more economical than going in and repairing an entire foundation.
How many square feet will a 1 gallon cover?
A gallon covers, well, it'll fill 500 linear feet. So it's kind of hard to calculate that because you don't always know exactly how deep your crack is. This product here is low viscosity enough that it will get to the bottom, be a complete fill of that crack. And I mean, when we're talking about cracks that are not even a centimeter wide, that's a lot of area to cover.
Mhm.
We've had great performance with this. It's 3 times harder than concrete, and it can be used inside and outside, talking floor of your warehouse or outside on your shipping dock. But the other one here, it's joint filler, JF joint filler. is better for areas that need a little bit more expansion and contraction. So they
Mr.
don't.
Casey, we have a situation in the paint line. We need you on the floor stat.
Okay. Well, I guess that ends our conversation. What I'd like you to do is work with Dave over there and get me an estimate on what it would cost.
Absolutely, yeah. And on the topic of this, if there's any possibility you could come out to our lab and see some proof of concept on this. I know seeing is believing. Can't ask you to make this sort of change without seeing some proof of concept first.
Okay, I've got an issue I've got to go address. So
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your time.
thank you.
I will get back with you on the pricing of the joint filler
Okay.
and
Good on. Thanks.
thank you.